Hello everybody, the Destroyer here, and I'm back with another cast of the Rise of the Witch King, patch 2.02, version 5.0.1. Today we'll be doing a 2v2 on Buckland is what we'll be looking at here, and I'm actually watching this game as it's being played, so I'm observing. So hopefully this is a good game, no idea. So our players today are CM as Men of the West, and his partner is also Men of the West, as C12, D13. Yep, so 2 Men of the West on a team there. Opposing team we have Hunter as the Elves, and his partner is the Men of the West as well. So 3 Men of the West in this game. Pepita. Pepita? I don't know, I don't speak Spanish. Might not be Spanish, who knows. I'll just call him Don. Just make myself look less retarded. So he's going with 2 farms, going for a barracks there, of course. Getting some Gondor soldiers, as I'd imagine the other 2 are doing exactly the same. I would hope, at least. Although sometimes it's good to change up your strategy. But it is kind of the best starting strategy for the Men of the West, if you think about it. Cavalry is viable, but not always. Nice farm placement and barracks placement there. A farm very well defended by the fortress, and this completely blocks off this side of the farm from being touched. Most players are doing something like that. A little bit more spread out that way, but still protected pretty well. Don didn't do that as much, but his farms are still pretty close to his fort, other than the back one there. And who is this again? Hunter, of course. Hunter is going for cavalry, so you're going for a green pasture to deal with these incoming Gondor Rohan peasants. Rohan spearmen, I mean. Rohan peasants from Battle of the North 1, of course. Not this game. Rohan Spearmen will be pretty effective against these Lancers, though. So, Hunter will have to be a bit careful. Apparently my music is still off, but maybe that's for the best. I'll add it in post. No big deal. You won't notice the difference. We have some Gondor soldiers here. In shield wall, they'll easily deal with these Rohan Spearmen. Looks like he went Rohan Spearmen just to be safe, I suppose. And we have a archery range being thrown on by Dawn here, which will help out, I would imagine, in some way. Definitely good against the soldier spam that'll be incoming. Even good against these spearmen. Of course, the spearmen are on his team, so he won't be fighting those, but these ones aren't, so he could shoot these. It looks like C12 has actually captured the outpost here, so that's nice. He'll have the extra income from that for a time. Don might want to actually knock this down, though. Looks like he's opting to chase with both of his units. He could probably take these Rohan Spearmen and actually go destroy this or capture it. That'd probably be a smart idea, but he is opting to chase, which is fine. He can do some damage there. He hasn't used... Has he used a rally call? Don actually did use a rally call. And we get some Lancers out from Hunter here to trample these soldiers. Soldiers aren't able to counter very well, but they do take a few of them with them, and they are... Gondor soldiers are actually some of the harder troops to trample when they go into shield wall, as they don't take much damage from the trample. Hunter the Elf has gone for Farsight, so it looks like he can see his enemy, of course.
Ready for battle.
Can be handy. Orange is on his team, so he doesn't have to worry about those, of course. His teammate is helping him defend his base a bit. Hunter does have 2 battalions of guys there. Some guys get cleaned up there. Who's this again? Let me just make sure I know the name. CM, of course. CM and C12 and CM are on the same team, which is, I guess, convenient in a way, and also confusing. Rally call has been purchased for C12. And I'd imagine everyone else, except for the Elves, have got rally call. Generally, it's the best power to get to start off, but not always. Sometimes Farsight is actually incredibly useful. It does show you that your opponent is doing, or exactly what your opponent is doing, I should say. Of course. Good battalions of archers here. We can fend off the attack from the Men of the West. He does have a fair amount of Lancers. He does get a nice run through, actually kills all those Gondor archers. Very nice. Managing also to, of course, avoid the pikes. Good strategy, of course, is to burst down the pikes with your your archers and then just run through with your cavalry. It's usually a good way to do it, because then you're free up to just trample to your heart's content. We do have some archers from pepita. You can counter the archers of CM here. But the cavalry is coming to reinforce. Well, by the time he gets there, all the archers are already dead. Of course, he can take these archers if he is careful not to run over these Rohan spearmen. Just managed to get these ones out, who are caught out all by themselves there. Nice run through, completely trampling and killing them all. Seems Orange has the outpost now, so Dawn has the outpost there. He's building it forward well. Dawn is, I believe. Yep, and he also has Omer, who is a nice hero to have, as long as he's not fighting spearmen. Great for countering archers though, and swordsmen. And he does have Gondor Knights as well. Actually, no, are these Gondor Knights? I think these are actually, no, these are C12s. So these are his, of course. He has the stables. Seems he is under attack from Elves, though. We have some Lordian archers in their base. And some Mythalon sentries. Mythalon sentries, of course, keeping the Gondor Knights from actually being able to do a whole lot, except for run around. So far, all teams playing pretty well, though, I must say. I was going to play in this game, but then a fifth person joined, and I decided to observe instead, so I can make a cast of it. Because I probably would have just lost the game anyway. Everyone in this game is better than me, as is pretty much any game I play. Everyone's better than me. Even though I am quite well known in the community of Rise of the Witch King, I am also one of the worst players. I'm not going to lie about that. So I feel it's better for me to watch. This is the time. Ellie Call going down on both teams there. Looks like CM pushing forward a bit. He's making a bit of ground. Omer has dismounted, as he's fighting a lot of pikes, of course. He doesn't want to be on his horse. Wouldn't be ideal. Lots of Lancers, lots of Gondor Knights, and lots of Rohan Spearmen on the field here. Both teams pretty much having an identical army, but on different teams. Of course, we have lots of Cavalry and Spearmen, then we have Cavalry and Spearmen. So essentially, they are doing exactly the same thing. Looks like C12 building a well there to heal up his Gondor Knights and such, which is a good idea. Hunter looking to reinforce his ally here, maybe. Go for an attack on his opponent there. Passing by some archers. Yeah, he noticed, and he does run back to take them out quite easily. Of course, these are his teammates' pikemen. He'll have to worry about those. We have a Tom Bombadil summon. I wonder where. Probably over here. There he is. Tom Bombadil, of course, is very destructive. One Sonic Song will pretty much clear up this entire army of pikes. He does do a good job of splitting up his army, though. Tom Bombadil will continue to punch away at them. So we have an Arwen from Hunter here. Arwen is pretty great for countering cavalry to some degree. And of course, her level 6 flood power is pretty nice. If you ever get her to that, she is quite useful. We have Outlaw Leadership from Omer here. That's a nice power to have as Man of the West. Nearby allies earn resources per kill, of course. You have him next to a lot of archers. It's pretty nice. Nice flank from the cavalry of Hunter, though. Devastating those archers. And then even getting these archers, all of CM's pikemen were out of position. And he lost his entire army of archers. That does cause him quite a bit of pain there. Looks like C12 has sent some Gondor Knights rally called to assist here. He is very outnumbered here, though. Of course, the pikemen being sent in to help from CM there. Summon Hobbits also being used. I hope he uses the Vile Gladriel. You all know me and my Vile Gladriel fetish. Or whatever you want to call it. Obsession. It's not so much a fetish. But it is super useful. There it is. He does use it to cause the enemy to flee in terror. Very nice. I noticed in patch 1.08 Sam has a firecracker ability. I have no idea what that is. Kind of curious, actually. But it seems CM is actually making a comeback here, pushing forward quite aggressively. So he's got a bit of a battle here for dominance between the elves and men here. Hunter falling back a bit to get to more men, I would imagine. Or elves, rather. All the men of the west give chase. Looks like C12 does have a armor of his own. And he does have 3 battalions of Gondor Knights, which would be pretty brutal if they get through the archer line. Of course, he doesn't want to go trampling all these pikes. Even though Mythalon sentries aren't the best pikemen, they're still more than effective enough to stop the majority of cavalry. These Gondor Knights still harassing and trampling quite a bit here. Of course, Gunner is level 5 now. Higher level he gets, the more health he gets, of course, and such. Hobbit's still alive there, almost spawning. Looks like Don has summoned Tom Bombadil of his own. Cavalry getting a nice flank once again. Really brutal. But Tom Bombadil is taking out majority of the army. I think Don will be okay. He'll be able to come back from this, although he does need to be careful of these cavalry units, of course. Archer looked like a pin, or Arwen looked like a pincushion there for a second. Peppered with arrows there. Glorfindel is on the field for Hunter. Glorfindel is, of course, a great hero to have. Not only when he's mounted, but also unmounted. He's very good. Pretty sure you can't use both of his powers when he's mounted. Where is he? There he is. Yeah, of course you can't use a Wind Rider when he's not mounted. And I guess you can use this when he's mounted. So, there's that. But of course Wind Rider is the one that makes him super fast and gives 100% armor as well. Which is nice. Nice to have. So we get a little counter attack from the cavalry of Dawn here. Let's take a farm. He has got his Omer to level 6. His Gondor Knights are still alive, which is good. He can send them back and heal them up when he wants. Majority of Men of the West players will have a well on their base. Pretty much everyone is going to have some sort of well, I'd imagine. Yep. When you play a lot of cavalry, or even army in general, it's nice to have well, but cavalry especially. Hunter's going for Haldir as well. And we have a Faramir out for C12. Faramir's pretty good. Haldir's alright. I'd say they're about equal, actually. I don't really like Faramir that much, but he is pretty useful. He's great for countering archers, of course, I would say. And you could probably say the same thing about Haldir if you kept him in bow mode. But, yeah. We do have Athelian Rangers out for Dawn, though. Athelian Rangers backed up with Rohan Spearmen. Pretty good combo there. Just need to be careful, though, because CM or his partner C12 could actually get a nice run through on those guys. If his pikemen are out of position, of course. But the same goes vice versa. He could lose his Gondor archers to the same exact tactic. But he might want to upgrade to Athelian archers as well very soon, I would imagine. Or he'll be outclassed archer-wise. And that will be a bad situation, I would imagine. Athelian rangers are much better than Gondor archers, of course. It looks like this barracks upgrading to level 3, possibly going for Noldor warriors. That would be interesting. Be pretty useful, I would imagine. And now CM has the flag here, so bottom left player has the outpost. He is making money from that. So let's take a look at powers when this battle ensues. And also, Don has a Boromir, just brought out in the field, so he isn't leveled up yet. So Don has a Tom Bombadil, 10 power points, heal and rally call, 725 command point limit. Nice run through with the Rohirrim there. Taking a lot of casualties though, he might lose those all. Hunter, the elf, has Tom Bombadil, Farsight, and almost 15 power points here. Let's go over here and take a look at this battle. Possibly he'll get a 15 power, that'd be nice. Yep, you got the Summon Eagles. That'll come in handy for sure. That will wreck this army if he uses it there. CM, the men in the bottom left, has Tom Bombadil, Summon Hobbits, Heal, Rally Call, and 6 power points, 625 commit point limit. There's a 575 for Hunter. So Hunter actually has the weakest economy out of everyone, it looks like. But course, he's doing quite well, I'd say, even if his economy is a little weaker than everyone else. The Eagles, of course, going to run unopposed here. Faramir being the only one who can actually fight back. Well, I guess there is some counter archers there, but they are just continuing to run. They should probably just stop and fight. They're not really going to make it home, I don't think. Pikemen, though, probably should keep running. But yeah, he has a arrow volley, rally call, and 0 power points at 700 command point limit. So that's an update on that so far. The Athelian Rangers do have fire arrows, but they are in front, and they are going to be trampled by the Rohirrim. This pikeman way out of position. I don't know what this is about. Be a great idea if they were like a little bit more forward there. Fortunately, he does get caught out a bit. Eagle showing up to fight or fend off Dawn here. No, not Dawn. Dawn was around Dawn's team. Fight off the Rohirrim is what I meant. And Gondor Knights giving chase as well. I'd say no team is at a severe disadvantage at this point, though. No one's going to die anytime soon, I don't think. So this could be a longer game, which is fine by me. We do have Athelian Rangers for CM now. Like I said, he does want to upgrade his archers, and he did just that, as he will be outclassed by his opponent's archers, which is never a good thing. Don't want to let your opponent get an upper hand if you don't have to. Both teams expanding their farms presence, but this builder could be in a bit of trouble. Haldir looking to cut him down. Of course, Haldir doesn't do a whole lot of sword damage, you see there. He is level 1 still as well, which does not help. Some of the men actually managed to get home, although the elf army is much, much larger than his. His rangers do get ran through by the cavalry as well. He loses his farm. Somebody using Cloud Break. Looks like Dawn used Cloud Break there. See, I might be in a bit of trouble here. With that Cloud Break, you can't stop the attack from Dawn here. A little expect there. There we go. Or hear him show up. If he takes down this archer range, that's going to be pretty bad for CM. CM does have Rohirrim though. And he will get a run through on these Athelians, pretty much unopposed. I feel like they're going in slow-mo, but apparently not. I don't know. I feel like they're running slow. Maybe he's running them with something else slower, because they do match the speed of the slowest unit with everything you are moving, of course. In this version of the game, at least. Not sure if it's like that for every version. I don't think so. But he does manage to take down that archery range, which is a pretty big blow. Tom Bombadillo's out in the field as well. That is Dawn's Tom Bombadillo, so he's taking care of these Rohirrim. They're using bow mode to try and fight back. Summon hobbits from CM. Looks like he will rally and push back the enemy. He does have quite a few troops now, so CM going to be forced once again. He did lose his archery range, but that does not mean he's out of the game by any means. So he'll be just fine, I'd imagine. Although his partner C12 is in a bit of trouble, I would say. So we are hitting a hard pocket of lag here for some reason. Everything seemed fine for a while. We have a forward Entmoot from Hunter. That's pretty bad. There we go. There's no lag anymore. That's good. But Hunter does have a Legolas as well, so he's going very heavy on the heroes. And his elves. Really, why would you not if you can't? Or if you can? Merkwoods and heroes and pikemen. Pretty strong, and lancers, of course. Pretty solid combination there. Legolas and the Merkwoods will easily take out these guys, although Legolas is over here fighting these guys. Also great for taking out cavalry. Legolas's Hawk Strike actually kills cavalry pretty well. Forward statue with a forward well is... I almost said as well. Right after I said well. Also, sure, why not? That works. Of course, he's continuing to get farms. You always want more farms if you can manage it. These Rohirrim have upgraded fire arrows, which is good. Boromir is level 4, almost level 5. Once he gets level 5, of course, he'll get that leadership, which is great. Faramir out on the field trying to do some damage. He probably will have to retreat there. He's taking a lot of damage there. Oh, we have a Summon Rohan allies. CM summon Rohan allies and throws down the rally call. Probably a bit too early there. He didn't actually get most of them. Rally call going down on the other Rohirrim. Although Rohirrim fighting Rohirrim with fire arrows is probably not the best way to do it. They would do much more damage against their brethren Rohirrim with their spears, I believe. This cavalry are kind of generally made to fight archers. That would make sense, I would assume. This builder getting caught out here. He will be picked off by CM's Rohirrim, no doubt. It'd be unlikely for Dawn's builder to get away. Big battle between the elves and men over here. Flood being used. That's why Arwen comes in handy sometimes. She does actually kill all these pikemen. They're so weak they die to the flood pretty easily. Yeah, level 6 Arwen, nice to have. Of course, he gets the Ethelis as well, which also heals his heroes, which is always great. Oh, Omer does go down there. With Omer dead, that's not going to be great. C12, of course. We have an Ent being brought out of this Entmoot. That's bad news indeed. Of course, it walks right into some pikes. It's not ideal. Throwing rock, where is it going to go? At the barracks. Does do a fair amount of damage, although he will lose his Ent because pikemen are right on top of him with their rally call. Although Legolas and Haldir picking them off pretty easily. Thorfinn and Arwen taking down the Boromir of C12. The heroes really proving their worth here. It just shows the power of the elven heroes. They're fighting off all the men less stuff pretty easily. See how things are going on the other side of the map here. We do have a few battalions of Rohirrim. Oh, these are the summoned Rohirrim, so they will just spawn here, leaving CM with almost nothing. He does have a Boromir and a healing up army here, and a couple of battalions of pikemen. Other than that, not a whole lot. Because there is some Ithilien Rangers in here, I'd say Dawn's army is a bit stronger, although I did not see all these Rohirrim. So potentially those Rohirrim could actually take out these guys pretty nicely. Takes a bit too sharp of a turn, though, and actually runs mostly into pikemen and loses a lot of Rohirrim. That was perhaps a misclick. I could tell what he was trying to do, but what he did instead did not end well. And you will have to retreat and heal them up, of course. I think he actually lost one of the battalions. Looks like there's only one left. Boromir using his horn, although it doesn't seem to be phasing these guys. Wonder why. They're not level 5. I legitimately have no idea. Unless a statue. Become immune to fear and terror. So statues, forward statues keep you immune to Boromir's horn. Great to keep in mind when you're fighting against Boromirs and even things like a Nazgul or I can't think of anything else that gives fear at the moment. A summoned hobbit. Frodo's power even. There's more than that, of course, that gives fear. Shelob gives fear. You don't see Shelob very often, but she does exist. That's actually CM's builder, behind the Army of Dawn, which is a little weird. CM is the bottom player. That builder does barely survive from running off to build somewhere else, I suppose. Who has control of the outpost? CM still has control of the outpost. He's building a little farm there. I'd say all these teams are playing pretty well, though. Definitely a good game to watch. Very cavalry heavy. Very pikeman heavy, definitely. But you would expect nothing less, really. C12 in a bit of trouble here. He's getting his Boromir back, but he doesn't have much to fight off the Elves here. The Elves do have Noldor warriors and Mirkwoods and an Ent as well. And a forward Ent still there, which is bad news. Hunter continuing to press in. I did actually miss the arrow volley. That is a delayed reaction, of course. But it did take out a fair amount of those guys. Looks like C12 is asking for a rematch. As it seems that his partner CM is being overwhelmed now. And of course, C12 was doing it. It was only a matter of time before C12 was overwhelmed as well. He has a fairly defensible place, but of course, between the Elven heroes and the Ents, he would have probably fallen pretty quickly. Of course, his partner being hit. 2 teams. Not good for him. And CM has been defeated. Put up a hell of a fight, though, gotta say. And now it looks like Dawn using his Earthquake on C12's base, completely annihilating any defense or any barracks as he had. And it's GG for sure here. C12 has been defeated, he's left the game. And that has been that, so there you go. A nice game. Nice little 2v2 on Buckland. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. And I might cast the next one, if they let me join in on their little thing and spectate. So that'll be cool. So I'll stop recording as soon as it gets out of this screen here. I hate when it freezes at the end of a game. It's like, ah, come on. There it is. I just want to see the squirrels. There we go. Alright, I will see you guys next time.